Hi, my name's John Hasson. As you can see, I'm just a regular guy. I've been doing, I started out as a computer programmer early on in my life, SQL, and I'm the kind of guy who actually gets excited when you talk about HTML, TCP, that HTTPS goes over a certain port, and F443 and HTTP goes over port 80, things like that. And so I'm a very technical kind of guy, but in the past couple of years, I found out you can make money online with internet marketing. And so in about the last 2 years, I've been making a lot of my income, not all of it because I still do programming, a lot of my income through pay-per-click. And so I'm going to talk to you as much as I can about all the different kinds of pay-per-click engines out there. There's, everybody knows there's the big three, but there's a lot of other pay-per-click engines that don't get as much love as they could. And if you use them effectively, you can make money with them just as easily as you can with Google, Yahoo, and MSN. Is that feedback from me? No? Okay. I want to give you a quick disclaimer because some of the things I'm going to say aren't as nice about some particular pay-per-click engines. But these are my personal experiences. And your mileage may vary. If I say, I just have not had any luck with insert your search engine name here, and you have, that's okay. Because all of these different search engines, or the pay-per-click engines, they do well for certain niches and certain keywords, but they don't do well for those same niches and same keywords all the time. And it's okay to disagree with me. If I say something you don't like, that's fine. I don't care. I mean, I care, but it's okay. Now, there's really, in my experience, there's really three kinds of pay-per-click engines. There's the first kind, and I actually had 4 in here, but I had to take one out because we don't have enough time, and that's the kind that just suck. Don't use them at all. The traffic's not very good, and there's not a lot of conversions, but the fact that there's traffic and you can get conversions means that if you adjust yourself properly, you can still make money with them. And then you have what I would call a middle category, which is mostly real people, but when they click on the ad, they don't really convert well. But they are real people, and there's not a lot of garbage traffic. It's just traffic that's not necessarily going to be exactly what you're looking for. And then finally, this is the nirvana, I guess you could say, is mostly real people who do convert for most niches. And say that again. Is there a question? No. And these are mostly going to be, Google, Yahoo, and MSN, obviously. But Amit has a really good session on Google and things like that later on. So I'm not, I think tomorrow or the next day. So I'm not going to focus as much on the big three, even though I will talk about them a little bit. The first group, these are I would say in most verticals, you're just going to waste your money. But some verticals, you can find a golden nugget here or there. And what I've also found is you can find success for a little while. Like let's say when you first add money into your campaign or your account, you'll get good traffic, but then after a couple of weeks or so, the good traffic kind of dies off, and especially if you keep adding money into it. And I'll get onto that in a little bit. Because what they'll do is, at least in my experience, what seems to happen. And here's a great example. There's a company, have any of you heard of LookSmart? They're a search engine. Awesome customer service. When I talk to them on the phone, I love those guys to death. They're very, very cool. This was 19 months ago, give or take. I was kind of a noob at this, and I was doing the insurance vertical. And so and of course, insurance keywords in Google are expensive. And I can't afford that and make money. And so I was looking for different search engines out there. And so I tried LookSmart, among others, and I think it was like 10 or 11 cents a click, and I was making money. The profit was almost double my money, so I was making 100% of whatever I was spending, and it was doing great for about a month or two. And then all of a sudden, I got lots and lots of traffic and no conversions, and I was like, what is going on? I didn't change my ads, I didn't change the landing page, I didn't change anything. And there's a phone number, 1-800-LookSmart or something like that. I called him up and talked to him. And I asked him, well, so what's the deal? And he said, oh, well, every couple of months we'll rotate through the traffic sources. I'm like, you punk? So I talked to the guy, and he's like, okay, let me see what I can do. And he put me back with my original, because it's not just one traffic source, it's like they have buckets. And so most of the smaller search engines partner, they don't get all the traffic from the homepage. They get their partner from different feeds. The other places that have a very small amount of traffic, and so they'll pay, they'll get on, let's say, LookSmart's feed, or Miva's feed, or SearchFeed's feed, or 7Search's feed. There's a lot of them out there. And so then they'll take those and either they'll aggregate them or they'll do just one. And so when the user goes to myhomepage.comcast.us, blah, 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 because that's what they think the internet is, and they do their search, then your results get shown there. So that's why there are real people there, but there's also a lot of people that just are not looking for that at all. And so what he did, he put me back on my good traffic source, or my good bucket of sources, and lo and behold, 11 cents a click, conversions. And I was like, woohoo, this is awesome. And he said, you know what, don't worry. I'll put a little flag in your account to tell them not to rotate you on the next rotation. Guess what happened? I got rotated again. And I was like, ah. So LookSmart does have good traffic, but I was like, because at the time I was testing so many different things, I just kind of let that one kind of fall away because there's a lot of things out there, and it's just me. So these are the guys. There's Miva. Miva, if you ever use Miva in the US market, I would say always use their precision network. Call them and ask them, say, I want to be on the precision network. If you go to if you just sign up and go with just their regular account, you will get some good traffic, but their precision network is a little bit more cleaned up. Their words, not mine. Search feed, I found on my end is that if I would put, like let's say I would load it with $50 or $100, and then I would let that $50 or $100 die off, and then wait a couple of weeks, and then put more money back in, I would get consistent traffic. But I found if I would put $50 in there, and then when it's down to 20, I'd add $50 more, down to 20, $50 more, and keep going, my the amount of bad traffic I got would go up. Does that make sense? And GoClick, the US traffic only, GoClick has since been bought by Media something or other, I forget. They're not even allowing new accounts, but the US traffic was fantastic. It was just not very much of it. And if I did international traffic, I just got a ton of traffic from Turkey. Yeah, LOL, yeah. AdBright, I've never been happy with AdBright. I tried them once, and for US only traffic, and all the pages came from some little country in Southeast Asia. And I called them, and they gave me credit for it. That's one thing I do want to point out. I don't think that these people are intentionally trying to defraud anybody at all. I just think they're trying, they're like everybody else trying to make money. And because anytime I've ever called any of these people and showed them, hey, look, I got this weird traffic, and it came from Turkey, or it came from the Philippines, or it came from Western China, things like that. Every single time I've been able to show them the logs and prove, look, this is what happened. They've always given me a refund, every time. But the thing is, I'm lazy, and so I don't always ask for a refund because it's usually not that much. But if you ever ask them, so I don't want people to think that I'm digging on these guys and saying they're horrible. They're not. If you talk to them and work with them, they'll work with you. They're all good people, and so don't feel like that. Enhance, I had a kind of a similar experience with LookSmart that I did with LookSmart, where it was good for a while, then it wasn't good. Industry Brains, yeah. And Ask, I've not had anything good with Ask. Their customer service is great on the phone, but I've not really had any success with Ask. Some people have. I'm just not one of them. Okay, this strategy with these guys is don't spend too much time on them. Yes?
Can you ask the group really quickly? Because my experience is the same as yours. I don't even use any of those anymore. I just gave up on them. And now focus on the big three.
Yes.
Time is sort of an issue always. But is anyone having good luck as far as being a profitable campaign or any of the other ones that are listed there?
He wants to know if anyone in this room has had a profitable long-term campaign or just short-term? a profitable long or short-term campaign with any of these up here, or any of those, because I obviously didn't list everybody in this group. I just listed some of the big names. Has anyone had a short-term profitable campaign with this? Raise your hand. So 2 of us. Okay.
My experience with some of my different websites and different niches, certain niches work better with some of these
Yes.
search engines than others. And with Enhanced, I think I was running like a B2C ticket niche or something like that, and that worked really well for the traffic from Enhanced. But Neva worked really well for like a wholesale list niche. But some of the other ones, like I couldn't get the B2C ticket to work really well with Neva. That was expensive, wasn't converting. But Enhanced, it was converting and it's cheap traffic. I couldn't get the wholesale stuff to work for that. So
What he was saying is it depends on some niches. Neva worked great, but on the same niche, it wouldn't work well with Enhance, and vice versa. So any more questions on this? Cool. On the poor traffic strategy, what I found is don't spend too much time on it. You know, what I'll do is I'll copy known good ads and known good keywords from the big 3, and I'll do a small deposit. Even if I get conversions, I'll wait until I run out of money, and then I'll add more money later on. Because my theory is that they, you know, because if you keep adding money, they're like, wow, this guy's likes our traffic. Let's give him more of our traffic. And if you're in bucket A, and they start giving you more of the traffic because it's obvious to them that you like the traffic, and then suddenly they put bucket B in there and bucket C in there, all of a sudden the traffic you liked in bucket A has a high chance of getting diluted with buckets B and C and D and so on. And even though you can do this and you can make money at this, I kind of stopped. I really haven't done it very much because it's just a huge headache. I'm this close to hiring some guys in East Asia and training them on these methods and seeing if I can make some money that way. This is, I've already answered all these questions, sorry. And there are a couple of others out there, but there's a lot of them out there, and they're just not really worth bringing up the list of all the ones that are absolutely horrible. So, and plus, I don't want to get in a lot of trouble for giving you a list of never use these guys, because I could be wrong on some of them, and it could come back to bite me. Now, just a quick heads up on the family tree. Meva, Meva Precision, and Search Feed, all the same. What I liked about Search Feed versus Meva about a year ago, and it's still kind of like this now, on Meva, if I wanted to get a particular keyword or something in there, they would check my website and say, oh, well, your website doesn't match the keyword quite good enough, so we're not going to activate it. Search Feed, they'll just, you know, I'll call them on the phone and give them a big, huge spreadsheet, and they'll just put it in there. So that's one of the reasons that I like. And plus, Search Feed's interface is so much nicer than Meva's. Meva's is kind of like MSN's. There's menus and WYSIWYG stuff, and they're trying to make it all look fancy. And Search Feeds is very simple. It's just a really basic website where you can do, this one's more like Google's interface. This one's more like MSN's interface. Kind of Enhance and GoClick, they're in the same family tree now. LookSmart and Ask, I asked LookSmart about this directly. If any of you have ever used both of them, the interfaces look identical, or they did last time I logged into them. And I asked him about that, and the guy at LookSmart said that Ask licenses their engine, but it's not the same traffic. So that's the direct quote from that. Now, does anyone really, do we want to spend a lot of time on where a lot of the poor traffic comes from, or do you want to move on to the good stuff? Good stuff? Okay. Mostly real people who don't convert much. These are networks that are run on legitimate sites, foxnews.com, USA Today, ESPN, all the news sites out there, a lot of times on like the WBTV.com for the local news syndicates. You'll see those there. And what I found is people will click on the ads a lot, but you have to plan for a much lower conversion rate than you're used to. Like let's say you've got some ad campaign for used cars. And on Google, it's converted. Once they actually click, your conversion rate is, let's say, 5% or 10% or something like that. Plan for it to be about half that on some of these. And AdSonar and Quigo, they're essentially the same name. And I've heard it said ads on air. AdSonar, and as far as how it's pronounced, I say AdSonar. If it's wrong, I'm sorry if you're here. I don't know how to pronounce the name of your company. They are more or less a content network like AdSense, but they're for big sites. And sometimes they convert really, really well, and sometimes it just doesn't. I'll give you an example. There was a credit card offer on ESPN for an ESPN branded credit card. Some of you probably saw that a few months ago. I forget which network it came through on. I was like, great. I know I can get an ad right on ESPN.com and says ESPN.com credit card, and they click on it, and it takes them to an ESPN.com credit card offer. I thought I was going to make a ton of money. Nothing. I spent a couple $100, nothing converted at all, and so it's not always what you think, but there is traffic, and there are real people there. In the past, I found success with them with financial and insurance, but I have noticed there's a best-teeth-whitening.com. Have any of you seen this website around? It's all over the internet. These guys they've got to be making a killing, because I've seen them over the past couple of months everywhere on the AdSonar network. And you click on it, and it's just a typical comparison website. And in there, the best site goes to another one of their sites, which then has a product that they sell for making your teeth white. And so I guess health or teeth whiteners also work really well because they've been doing it for months. And if you're here, I'm sorry if I added you. I've noticed it. So, and Pulse 360 is kind of the same as Quigo and AdSonar, but in my experience, I didn't have as much success with them. Social media, Facebook, and MySpace. I know some guys who are making a killing with Facebook. I'm like $1,000 a day profit. I'm not one of them, but I've been playing around with it and listening to some of their advice on that on Facebook, and it really seems to be that with Facebook, you want to target your demographic group as tightly as possible, and in some cases it's better not to go direct to the offer, but go to a landing page. That way, when the Facebook, you can make the ad match the landing page a heck of a lot better if you've got your own intermediary landing page. And social media is kind of like Facebook ads, except that you can advertise on applications and mini sites that people have made through Facebook, MySpace, and Bebo.com, which is another big social network. It's just not as big in the States. And I've gotten a lot of traffic through them as well. But the only niche that I tested with social media was an incentivized site for gamers. And it worked. I got some conversions, but it wasn't very profitable for me, so I turned it off. But there are some guys that can do really, really well with that. You just have to realize on social media, your ad is going to be it's not going to look like an ad. It's going to be part of the application. And matter of fact, in one place, I saw it on a Facebook application. They were filling, it was a quiz. What's your favorite color? How long are your legs? All those kind of questions. And then at the very end, there was a button to complete the quiz, but also there was what I recognize as a social media ad, and it said, "Are you fat?" or something like that, and yes, no. And so if you're going through the quiz, that's going to be a click that you're going to get charged for, but it's not going to be a very good click because the user's like, what? They're going to get confused and surprised by that. So just be aware that that's out there with social media. But you can, as long as you know about it, you can still turn it into something profitable. Zango. I actually really thought about taking this one out and not even talking about it, but I wanted to be as thorough as possible because Zango's not really pay-per-click. It's more of a pay-per-view thing. Oh. I was supposed to be going through the slides with you. I'm sorry. All right, Zango is it's spyware, it's adware. It is what it is. But one thing I do like about Zango is that they are users now. You have to click like yes 2 or 3 times to get the software on your machine. It's not drive-by installs anymore. At least that's what I understand. One thing that I will say is that most affiliate networks do not want you to use Zango. And so I don't want you to all go back and say, well, John Hasson said we should use Zango and we can make lots of money. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm saying just I want you to be aware of it, that it's out there, and that you can make money with it, but be aware that most of the networks here do not want any of Zango's traffic. And it's not because the traffic is bad and the traffic doesn't convert. I think it's because of what, Zango's had a history of doing things like, let's say you go to blockbuster.com and an affiliate can buy the keyword blockbuster.com. And so when you go to blockbuster.com and they have Zango installed, boom, your affiliate link pops up and it sends you to blockbuster.com. All of a sudden, you're making a couple of bucks on a new account, but there's no real value add to it. And so that's one of the issues with them. But if you, even as a noob, without knowing very much at all, you can still pull in money. I've got, he's not an affiliate for me. He's an affiliate for me on a different private offer that I've got, but he also does other things as well. And he was bragging to me about on his payday, he has some payday loan sites that very ugly site. It's horrible. But he's making like $50 profit a day, and he's very, very, very new at this, using just Zango. It's not a lot, but I'm just pointing out that you can make money with it. I don't recommend that you jump into this unless you've got your own product and you're willing and you're okay with the stigma that goes along with that. Now, one thing that's not on my slides that I want to bring up, there's Zango Media Traffic.com, I think is what it is. They're basically a Canadian version of Zango. And did any of you watch that online affiliate show? What's it called? Affiliate something or other. It was the reality show, Top Affiliate Challenge. Did any of you watch that? Any of you heard of that one? Couple of you? No? Okay, a couple of you, all right. Well, in there, one of the contestants was bragging about he gets all this traffic and he does something called PPV, pay-per-view. I don't know if this is what it is exactly, but this is the only pay-per-view that I know about. And so this is what I think he's talking about, Zango media traffic. But there's also a couple of pay-per-views that don't have this stigma. And those are, I'm going to talk about those in a little bit. But essentially, those are where you can buy keywords. And 7search and Sendori, Sendori.com, not going to be on here. They will essentially buy domains, like let's say they buy autoinsurance.com or they buy californiainsurance.com. So they'll have a huge list of domains, and you can buy those keywords. And so whenever somebody goes to a browser and types in californiainsurance.com, if they own that domain, they'll send that user's they'll send the user from californiainsurance.com directly to your site. So that's also a pay-per-view methodology as well. And that converts really, really, really well. Just saying. But there's not a ton of traffic, but if you can get enough, it's pretty good. I think I broke it. I did break it. Hold on one second. All right, I'll just do it up here. All right, this is the good stuff. These are mostly real people who do convert. And these engines are people who are actively looking for stuff to buy, or they're looking to fill out a form, or whatever it is that you're trying to do to make money. How are we doing on time? Okay, half an hour. We have Superpages, 7search, ClickRiver, Business.com, Facebook, if you can find the right niche, game ads, game advertising. I know this looks like a spammy domain name, and but that's a real company, and they really are good. MSN, AdWords, and Yahoo. Superpages, actually, in the past month, they've taken a turn for the worse in all my traffic sources. With Superpages, I wasn't getting a ton of traffic, but the conversions were great. I was literally doubling my money every day with Superpages. But I'm not sure what happened. I don't know if they added me to another bucket because they never did it before, or if they brought in more traffic sources. I suppose I should be onto the Superpages slide, shouldn't I? Is this off? Yeah, it was off, sorry. Okay, some bad things about Superpages. Changing a keyword will take, or adding a campaign, any change at all, takes 2 to 3 business days. It sucks. Oh, I hate that. But the traffic was so good, I was willing to put up with that because it was great traffic. The support is nice, but they don't know as much as they could. A lot of their traffic comes from yellow page listings, keyword arbitrage. Although when I was talking to them on the phone, I don't think it's that they won't admit it. I just don't think that she really knew what keyword arbitrage was. If you go, let's say use keyword spy, type in superpages.com, you'll see a lot of keywords in there, and you'll see them scattered all over the place. If you go to any popular website, let's say the Drudge Report, or and they're like a number 4 or 5 site. They're a pretty big site out there. You'll see their ads all over the place, and a lot of the ads are very, very particular. Like let's say the ad is for shoes or something like that. They're going to say get listings of shoes at Superpages, and so you go there. So a lot of the traffic was arbitrage traffic, and arbitrage traffic actually converts really well. I see people that complain about, why is Yahoo giving me traffic from one of their domains? I hate their traffic from the domains. I love Yahoo's traffic from park domains. That stuff's great. But if you don't want it, it's fine. That's fine with me. So they do keyword arbitrage pretty much. A few months ago, their top 10 categories, because they're when you call them and talk to them, they're really helpful. They're really nice. She gave me a list of their top categories, and so as you can see, number 10, I was made fun of for having that on there, but that was number 10 on there. That's 10th most popular. It kind of says a lot about our society, I guess. TV is number 1, personal escorts is number 10, and we have cooking in between. I don't know what that says, but so I grabbed the first one, satellite television services, and I went and found a satellite TV offer on Commission Junction. It was paid out $100 for a sign up. I'm like, okay, cool. So I stuck it out there, and sure enough, I doubled my money. But what was weird is about the same time that I put this one out there and started doubling, and I was like, oh, cool, I'm making money with this one too. Then that this is my theory. I have not gotten any confirmation on this, but I have noticed on my campaigns a significant decrease in quality and a significant increase in quantity. So much so that 2 weeks ago, I turned off all my Superpages campaigns until I get a chance to figure out what's going on with it. So that's one of the reasons why I almost moved it to a different category. But they were really awesome.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes?
Did you say you found out what the top niches were?
I asked them. No,
And then
these are their most popular.
you subsequently went to a network and see if they had a product?
Yes. Yes. And so I don't know if this is their top 10 still, but they're probably pretty close. I wasn't sure about the hubcap stuff. Okay, 7Search. They used to suck really bad. Now they don't suck. They're actually really good. It's not a lot of volume, but they're really, really particular about what kind of traffic they let in. I know this because I have a site where I'm actually a feed partner with them. So I'm on both sides of 7Search. And so I know what levels of stringentness, if that's even a word, of that they put their feed partners through. And I didn't sign up to be a feed partner until after I've been using them for a while, and I saw, oh, I can try it on the other side to kind of get an idea for what they do. And I've been very happy with their traffic. I've not had any real problems with it. Again, it's about double your money. It's just not a lot of volume. But one thing on 7Search that they've got here is a domain keyword bids. This is one of those pay-per-view things I was talking about. So you type, I forget what CF stands for. It stands for something that means, all it means is whatever keyword after this is, so if you do CF insurance, whenever anybody's doing something about insurance, they will, if it goes to a domain that 7Search owns or 7Search is partnered with, then your web page will be showing up instead. It's not going to be an ad. It's going to be your page, whatever your page happens to be. One thing about 7Search is, of course, obviously the quickest way to do it is take your keywords and your ads from Google, Yahoo, MSN, copy and paste them into 7Search. That's kind of a no-brainer. But what I found is a really tight keyword what do I have there? Classic auto insurance in Kentucky. That's going to get you some traffic on Google. On 7 search, no, not so much. So just do auto insurance, something like that. You can put it in there, but they actually only, I think the limit is 10,000 keywords on your account, which is pretty low. But that's the limit, and they don't want you to open up a whole bunch of accounts just so you can get lots of keywords, because I don't think their system is designed that way. So I don't have near as many as 10,000 keywords on 7 search, but I do have some on there, and you know it's just a little bit of extra income. Once you get it going, with the same with most PP campaigns, once you get them going, you just relax and just make sure that nothing happens to them, and you're making money. ClickRiver, Amazon, they're trying to make money, and so they more or less copied AdSense. They've changed this a couple of times. It used to be keyword-based. Now it's category-based. And they are real people who are in the buy mode. You know, these are people like, let's say they're looking for, what's something? Shoes. I'll use shoes as an example. And so you'll see a list on Amazon's website. You'll see at the top of the thing all the shoes, blah, 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 blah. And at the very bottom, you'll see the ClickRiver ads. And it doesn't look like an ad really, it just looks like part of Amazon's site. And so if you write your ad text correctly, knowing where it's going to appear on the page, you can get users who click there. And so then let's say you have a site, you're an affiliate with Zappos or some other shoe company. And so the user most users aren't really savvy enough to realize that they just left Amazon.com. And so there's that, but they recently changed it to categories a few months ago, and what I found is I could get something past their, I don't want to call them their ad Nazis, but their ad approvers, excuse me, ad approvers, and in the category, but sometimes they don't really have a category that matches exactly what I've got, whereas when you did keywords, you could. And so I would put stuff in categories that didn't quite fit, and I kept getting knocked out because it didn't match exactly, and so I just kind of gave up on them. But really, the traffic's not a lot, but when it hits, it converts. Business.com. I love these guys. These are cool. Especially if you do any B2B stuff, I love these guys. The way I found them is actually kind of funny. I was looking in my log for all the refers, so I could find out when people are clicking my ads from Google or Yahoo or MSN or 7 Search or anybody that I'm using, I store and track every single click in the database, and that click shows me the web page that they were just at, assuming if the browser sends it. And I noticed I was getting a lot of conversions from some place called Business.com. The last thing I remembered about Business.com before this is that the guy that they bought the domain name for either $1 million or $10 million, I forget, some big number, and that was the last I heard of them. So I went to the website and looked around. Sure enough, there's AdSense blocks all over the place. And my ad was, of course, in there because I was advertising on the Content Network. Cool. But as I was digging around, I saw a place where I can advertise directly on Business.com. So I went there. Sure enough, it was pay-per-click. Got me. I'm in. So I go there and I fill out my ad and do everything you do. I take my my top keywords and I use Business.com's keyword generator, and I merge the two together, and I take the keywords that Business.com gave me, and I go and put them in Google because they were good keywords I hadn't thought about. And then, what did I do then? I started making money. That's what happened. I only have one ad on there. But the cool thing, it was my top performing ad across all my networks. And so now, if you're looking for whatever it is that my particular niche is in, you'll see my ad on Business.com. You'll see it in the featured listing sometimes, and you'll see it on AdWords. So I've got the same ad 2 or 3 different times on the page without breaking any rules. Yes?
How do you go about analyzing if the ad campaign is successful? Because obviously you might get somebody that clicks on something, like through an affiliate network, could be a 30, 60, or 90-day cookie, and you may not get that sale for 45 days later.
Should I enter that? Yeah, I'll enter it now. What I do, is I have a little computer program system that I wrote, because I'm a programmer, techie guy. And every single click that I get from anywhere gets a number assigned to it in my database. And you know how on affiliate offers you can always send out a sub ID or a sub key. So I will send out, like, let's say it's click number 50,000 or 50,001. So I'll have my number 50,001, and I'll put it on the, when I do the redirect to the affiliate offer, I put that in the sub ID column. And so then I can go and get my reports. And so if it's 30 days, 60 days, a year later, whatever the time frame is, I can take that and dump it into my database and match it up. And I can match up, you know, this 50,001 gave me $100 or $12 or whatever the number happens to be. And I can go and look at that click cost me $1, 50 cents. And so I know that particular click made me $50 or $100. And of course, because it's all in the database, I can aggregate them however I want to break things up. That make sense? Okay.
What's the pricing compared to AdWords for their network?
It's about similar. There is a minimum bid, and honestly, I cannot remember what it is because I'm not even close to it. I think it's 20 cents. I would honestly have to look because I don't know what the minimum bid is because I'm above it.
What percentage of the AdWords bid do you put in Businesscom?
Say that again?
Like, do you half the price of AdWords or?
Oh, the price? He's asking what percentage of my price on AdWords do I do on Business.com? And I would honestly have to look, but I think it's like 80% of my price on AdWords. So it's about the same. It's about the same. The way that I do bidding is I will start with a number that's somewhat arbitrary, but not really. I will look at whatever the offer is, and I will start out with a 1% conversion. I'll say if the offer pays $10, then and the conversion rate's at 1%, then that means I can't bid more than a nickel because I always shoot for doubling my money. And so I'll run it like that, and then I'll get an idea on what the real conversion rate is. Let's say the real conversion rate is 10% or 5% or 50%. I'll take that number and I'll redo my math and I'll adjust my bid prices up or down depending on that. And so let's say I would start out, if I was doing a completely new campaign, I would have no problem starting something out at 50 cents or $1 on Business.com. But if you go do that and you lose money, it's not my fault. I'm sorry. I'm just saying. But this is what I would do. And then I run it for a while, and then I'll test the conversions, and I'll see how much money those clicks actually cost me, and cut that in half. I always start with half of whatever it takes to break even, so I can make a decent amount of money, because that gives me enough cash so that as I try out new offers, because every time I try a new offer, you're always losing money every time. Okay, not always. 99% of the time you lose money. But once you figure out what's working and what's not working, you get rid of the stuff that doesn't work, you take the stuff that works, improve on it, and that's really what pay-per-click is. It's a numbers game. You try different things and keep what works, what doesn't work. It's kind of like dating. You know, you date a bunch of people you don't like, you stop dating them, right? You're supposed to anyways. Yes, you in the back. From my database. I will take the clicks that I've got from all my different traffic sources. I've got those in a database where I log them as they come in real time, and then I will import the data from my affiliate networks, and I will put all those together in a big SQL statement, SQL statement, a report, and then from there I'll have the numbers. It's all custom. I'm a programmer. It's all custom stuff that I just I made on my own, and the user interface for it is horrible. So it's ugly. Yes?
Is the conversion rate here less than that when you do AdWords? Or?
Actually, it's better. For my particular niche, it's better. For my niche, it's better. So, okay. So, Facebook strategy. This is how to steal Facebook ads. Create multiple accounts with different demographics. You're a guy in Canada. You're a girl in New York. You create a bunch of different profiles, and you can look on the ad board and see what all the ads are. And then go back a week later, see what all the ads are. Go back a week later, see what all the ads are. And after a while, you'll see that there are some ads that stay there and some ads that don't. The ads that stay there are most likely selling a product that converts. See what the product is. Look at it, see if it's something you're comfortable selling, because there are some things that I'm not comfortable selling. then you can build a website around it, a landing page around it, because you know it's obviously if it's converting on Facebook, then you can also take those and try those offers on Google and Yahoo and MSN and other places. Oh, I didn't realize I had that in there. Ignore this one yet. I'll skip that. Sorry about that. Now this is what I would call specialty PPC. If you have any niche that's really, really narrow, and you want to find a way to advertise to them, like I had a website that I was making that was targeting gamers, video gamers, which is that's still several million people. But if you look at the United States is 300 million, the world is almost 7 billion, and about half of those are online. That's not a lot of people. So what I did is I went to the websites that these people will go to, mmorpg.com, any sort of guild site for places that will let you host your own video game group for free. And then I went to the pages and I viewed the source of the web page. And I would look for the URL of the ad. And then I would go to that, that URL, or I would figure out who owned it and find the parent company of that. And through that, I found a couple of places that would essentially let me advertise on these big name websites for like 15 cents a click on PPC. It's like, that's cool. Well, it was for me because it was profitable. If you're not making enough money, then obviously it's not cool. So once I found that, I was able to get my ads on these big name websites for relatively cheap. Most of the time, you still see a lot of places trying to do CPM. I remember early on, I tried to when I was doing insurance way back in my noob days, I was calling up the local websites for the news affiliates, news stations. Like let's say Arizona was paying a lot more for an auto insurance lead than let's say Louisiana. So I would look up the different television stations in Phoenix or so on, and I would go to the website and find out how to advertise, and I would get their rate cards. And the rate cards were all CPM based, and their CPMs were, it wasn't that bad. It was like $5, $10 a CPM, but I knew, and I asked them what their click rate was. And holy cow, they do not want to tell you what their click rate is if they're doing CPM. It was like pulling teeth before I finally got somebody to kind of let it out. It was like 0.001% or something like that. And like, oh, it's a branding thing. I'm like, well, that's great and all, but I'm a PPC guy. And so I don't really do unless I can get a CPM of like 0.01 or something like that, I'm not going to mess with it. Now, with these specific niche websites, this is just for a gamer one. And when I saw those dashes in the domain name, I'm like, oh, great, this is a spammer. But I went there, they're real people. So just because you see the domain name looks spammy, always check it out because you never know, you can find something good. And but the bad thing about it was that well, actually, it's not a bad thing, it's actually a good thing, is that all the ads had to be images. I couldn't just throw together a really quick text ad like I would do on Google or Yahoo or MSN, 7Search, any of these other guys. So I had to sit there in Photoshop and spend a little while making a pretty ad. But once I did, I was able to take those ads and stick them on Google's content network. So now I have image ads on Google's content network as well. And if you do them right, they actually convert really, really, really well. You just have to make sure that they look right and test them and so on. So don't be afraid of doing an image ad or a video ad or something like that. And because the ads were so targeted to the niche, I mean, they fit into the website really well, and I was targeting towards people that really wanted my offering, it converted really well. So it was kind of the nirvana of PPC. Now, MSN, Yahoo, and Google. Here, the conventional wisdom applies. You want to have your ads in ad groups. You want to have a good website. You don't want to try a lot of direct linking unless you just have a ton of money to burn and you're willing to test it. One thing I would stress is don't run the same campaign for content that you do for search. There are different networks. It's a different demographic. Even though on Google and Yahoo, there's this little checkbox, all you have to do is check it, and suddenly your ads are on both networks. It's really, really easy. Don't do that. Duplicate the campaign, and then You want to build the campaign one way for search, one way for content. And for content, you can typically do lower bids. And also with content, I will typically do one keyword per ad group per ad. Because even though you can group them all together, I find that I can get a little bit more juice if I keep them all separate. Whereas on search, you want to group all the keywords together. And this is something that's, I don't know if many people know about this, but inside of the Google's, what's it called? The Google AdWord Manager. Do all of you know what that is? Raise your hand if you don't know what that is. Okay. The Google AdWord Manager, it's a program that you can download from Google. What? Google AdWords? AdWords Editor. What was I saying? AdWords, oh, sorry, Editor Manager. Google AdWords Editor. In there, in the menu on the right, if you load up a campaign, just locally, you don't have to upload it to Google or anything, but you can load it up with a lot of keywords and a lot of ads. It actually has a tool in there that will take those and group those into like keywords. And so it'll save you a lot of time versus having to go through and do them by hand. And then you can take those same groups and copy those groups and do them in Yahoo and Google. Yes?
You mentioned the image ads on Google in particular.
Yes.
Are you using them a lot? How was your experience? I'm more interested in volume. In other words, someone has to actually display that image ad. Are you finding volume?
No. I'm not finding a lot of volume. But it's also because I'm not doing it a lot. So if I had a couple of hundred image ads out there, then I would be concerned if I didn't get volume. I've got like 10. So not a lot of image ads out there, but I do find that they and for me it was an added bonus because for these guys I had to make them anyways for these guys. And so since I had the media done, I went ahead and stuck it into Google as well. Does that make sense?
It's been around for a while. Is anyone here using image ads and finding that there's volume there?
He wants to know if anyone has had any success with Google Media Ads on content. I did video for a while, and I found success with video, but it died off pretty quickly. And I don't know if it's because my video ad was being shown on the same sites, and the users had already seen it. I don't know that. Has anyone had success with media ads on Google, on Google's content network? Images, video, nobody? So, no.
Well, it's been around for a while, and you're always struggling, should I create one? Should I not?
If you've already got it, put it in there. It doesn't hurt you. But the thing that I like about the keyword ads, especially as a programmer, I can make a lot of ads really quickly and test them all out and see which ones work and see which ones don't work. With the image ads, I don't really have that. Although, you know what? I'm going to tell you this idea. This is an idea that I've had for a while, and I was like, I'm going to do this one time. And it's been like 8 months, and I still haven't done it. So I'll tell one of you, maybe one of you will do it. What I wanted to do is I wanted to take I can write a program to make an image that looks exactly like Google's ads. You know, it has the text the same color, the font, and everything. So I'd take the same image, and then what I would do is I would tilt it a little bit, by like maybe 1 or 2 degrees, so it was kind of off, tilt it a little bit. So it shows up on the people's websites, but instead of the ad being this way, it's like this, or upside down. And so instantly they're like, what is that? I would probably get a lot of clicks. I just haven't done it. So if one of you does it and has great success with it, please tell me. I'll post it on my blog or something like that. So that one was free. Let's see, where was I? Oh yeah, don't test multiple ads per keyword, and so you'll have at least 2 ads in every ad group all the time, at least. Sometimes more. Yes, sir. Okay, he's asking if you've made money on search in the past, how can you make money on content? Is that more or less what you're asking?
Yeah, right.
Okay. And well, you just approach content differently than you would search. It's a totally different network. I mean, yeah, the ads look the same and the interface is the same, but the traffic is very different. When on search, people are actively looking for your ad. On content, you're going to get a horrible click-through. Matter of fact, this is something that I do a lot on Google. If I have some keywords that I know I can't spend $3 or $12 or some ridiculous, well, not ridiculous, but some very high price in order to get on page 1, or if I know that my landing page sucks, Google doesn't like it, and they say my minimum bid is $10. What I'll do is I'll add those keywords anyways, and I'll put them in their own ad group with their own ad, and I will put those and target those just for the content network. And so it's an easy way to get some trickle traffic, and without a lot of work and having to redo your whole website to make Google happy. Although I will redo my whole website to make Google happy, but sometimes that takes me a couple of weeks to get to it, and so I can get a little bit in. As far as here's an example of how I made money on the content network. My gamer site. Okay, so I would target. Let's say I was targeting. Does anyone in here know what an MMORPG is? Raise your hand. Couple. Okay, all the cool guys. Got it. It's an online video game for people to go and waste lots of time. So what I did is I found a list of all the different video game sites out there. Like there's Xbox, City of Heroes, City of Villains, Matrix Online, Star Wars Galaxies, World of Warcraft, Age of Conan, EverQuest, Lord of the Rings. It's lots of them out there. And I would target each individual one. I just had 2 keywords. I would target, let's say if it was City of Heroes. I would do City of Heroes for 1 keyword and COH, the abbreviation. And so my keywords were very, very, very narrow. And in the ad group, I had a couple of ads and I was testing for CTR and positioning and so on. And those people would click because it would, see, on search, if you have 50 keywords or 100 keywords or 1,000 keywords, that's actually pretty cool. But on content, because a website is not about 50 things or 100 things, it's typically about 1 or 2 things. And because I was targeting, in this case, the example I'm using, City of Heroes, any website that was essentially a fan site about City of Heroes, my ad showed up there, hey, play City of Heroes and get cool free stuff, whatever it said. And of course, it got clicked because they're already on a website that they care about. So I don't look at the content network as I'm just going to try and blast everything. That's what I do with search. With content, I like to really narrow it down and focus on something particular. Google's even added, what did they add? Like it's called where you can essentially pick URLs. I forget. It starts with a P. Placement. Yeah, they've been bugging me like to death about you should do placement. You should do placement. I'm like, leave me alone. I don't want to do placement right now. But that's kind of the same thing where you can and so what I would do, let's say in the City of Heroes example, let's say all the traffic came from cityofheroes.com or cityofheroesforums.com or something like that. I would see that 99% of my converting traffic came from there. Instead of the PPC ad, I could just do a placement ad, and then I know the ad's going to be on that particular website. It's a little bit, not a little bit. It's a lot more legwork, but if you can make a lot of money doing that. Did I go over all this? Okay. Success with PPC. Be willing to lose money. You will lose money. You're going to lose money. That's just the way it is. Test everything. Track everything. If you're not tracking things, don't do it until you can. If you can't track from the time somebody clicked, the time somebody bought, the color of your landing page, the color of your button, where the click came from, if you don't have a way to track all of that, then you're going to be in a world of hurt. It's better if you just say, stop, take a couple of weeks, couple of months, whatever it takes you to get a system in place to track everything, and then start with the PPC. Because without tracking, it's like, wow, look at all these conversions I got for this ad group. If you have 50 keywords or 100 keywords or however many keywords you've got in your ad group, you have no idea which one it is. And you know what? Even today, I'm still guilty of this. Sometimes I'll track things down to the ad level, But most of the time, I track things down to the keyword level. You want to track at the keyword level at the very least. But do as I say, not as I do, because I still do it at the ad level sometimes just because I'm lazy. But I'm telling you, track at the keyword level at least. Oh, also one other thing. Don't pass the keyword inside URLs. They'll be stolen. Use IDs. Now, what I'm talking about is I'm not talking about your affiliate network taking your keywords from your referrals, because even like let's say you have HTTP mysite.com/keyword equals dogs, and they click on the link, and then they go to your website about dogs, and you're going to sell something to them. And what the referrer itself is going to be passed all the way on down through to the affiliate's landing page, especially if they're all redirects and you're doing direct linking. If you're not doing direct linking and you've got it on your own website, it's not even an issue of affiliate companies copying your keywords. What it is an issue is there are companies out there that will essentially get all your traffic data from ISPs. Every time you go anywhere on the internet, Comcast, and I don't know if Quest is doing it, 8-bit, these companies have gobs and gobs and gobs of traffic. What do you think they do with this traffic? They sell it. It's anonymized, but they sell it. And there's companies they will buy that and parse it and use it and find out what keywords people are actually searching for. Because Google's, you'll see Google's, what's it called, the Zeitmaster? The thing where, Zeitgeist. You'll see Google's Zeitgeist. They're only, and that's cool. But there's other companies out there. Was it starts with a C? I cannot remember the name of this company. But there's a bunch of companies out there. Was it? No, it's like comScore. Thank you. comScore. And so they aggregate all this data. And there's other companies that will buy that data. Let's say Keyword Spy, Spy Food, things like that. And they know all the keywords people are searching for. Then they can take those keywords and go and find out the ads and so on. And so that's why I don't pass a keyword in my URLs anymore at all. Any of my affiliate URLs is some weird domain name, $ID equals some weird number. And that number goes into my database and it looks up, is actually tied to an ad and to a network and everything. And then that figures out the correct affiliate URL to send it to, or the correct landing page or mini website to send it to. That's it. Any questions? Yes?
On that, you're actually sending your own URL.
Yes.
And that URL is going to redirect to whatever. So if you actually wanted to change an ad, you just keep the same ad up and then change the refer, the actual redirect.
Yes. Yeah, what he's saying is doing it the way I described. If all of a sudden I decided I wanted a different landing page, or even better, if I want to rotate through 10 or 15 different landing pages to see which one converts better, with this system, all you have to do is add a little rotator script in there and track which ones convert, and then you're done. Any other questions? Yes, you in the back.
Besides seven search, the only one you would recommend is to just take ads directly from Google AdWords or Edison or Yahoo and just ship it over to seven search?
Let me think. With what I'm doing now, I would say yes. Any of the other guys aren't. I take it back. Yeah, you can also try it with, if you're willing to risk to try it out. Miva's Precision Network, Enhance, Look Smart, Asks, some of those guys. Just keep an eye on it really, really closely for obvious reasons. Okay. Any more questions? Yes.
Might be a little technical, but let me know.
I love technical questions.
How are you?
Well, I might. Let's see.
How are you making a comparison to your source? In other words, if I've got a CJ affiliate link, I can pass the SID through, no problem.
Mm-hmm.
Before that, check this timestamp or something. But are you using something within your website, whether MySQL or something else, to track your refers, or you're passing refers all the way through to CJ?
I track the refers and store them on the first hit on my website. I track them and I store the refer, the date timestamp, and everything into a database table. So I've got the refer, the source, the date time, the IP address, and then from there I do a reverse lookup to know the country and the state and so on. And If I'm doing a direct link, I'll just do a redirect straight to whatever my direct link page is. And doing a redirect, browsers will pass the referrer to them. But if I'm using a landing page, and I do a redirect to the landing page, the user sees my landing page, buyourcoolshoes.com or whatever it happens to be, and then they click on the link from my landing page. The referrer does not get passed on the CJ. The referrer to CJ is buymycoolshoes.com. And so if they go and look on the traffic, they say, oh, he's sending us traffic from his website.
So you're storing that in a session or cookie or something?
The referrer? I store that in a database.
You're going to make the comparison at some point. CJ's got the sale. You're not going to know that until
Oh.
later.
Uh-huh.
So how are you making that relation?
Because whenever I create a new record in the database, it gets a unique number assigned to that record. So every click has a unique number. So if you click on my ad, you click 5,000. If you click on my ad, you click 5,001. She clicks on my ad, 5,002. And then whenever I do my redirect, either it's to a landing page directly or it's to one of my own pages, I will take that unique number that was just generated, and I will use that as my tracking ID. That make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
I tend to always pass some sort of a code that's to CJ, but now I'm thinking it doesn't have to be that. It could be something uniquely stored.
Yeah, it's unique. So on some of my affiliate networks, when I log in to look at my conversions, I'll have there'll be a list of 100 or 1,000 or so different unique numbers, and it'll have the number, and it'll have whether it converted or not, and so on. And so it's this big, huge list that I export it into Excel or a CSV, and then I import it into my database. Yes?
For merchants that have their own website, can you recommend a tool for my web blog for the keywords to go in?
For your own website? He's asking if you have your own website, what's a tool that I can use to grab all the keywords that people are using? I know there's tools out there. There's some open source weblog tools. You could always use Google Analytics if you felt comfortable giving them your data. But really, I would imagine you probably have a lot of log files. Gobs and gobs and gobs of log files. If it was me, I would just write a computer program to import them and then extract it, and then I would go and extract all the keywords. But if you don't have a programmer on staff, I would really say pay somebody $50 to write something for you, and then you can use it as many times as you want. Or you can add some code into your website so that anytime anybody comes, you can start storing that information in a database, and then you can aggregate it out and make some decisions on how you're going to make money or increase your profit that way. You. Well, you already asked a question. You, yeah.
Okay, quick question.
Yes.
Like about a month or two ago in my Google AdWords campaign, we were, one of the campaigns that we have, we were offered to switch it, I guess, to a pay for action type of campaign.
Yes.
Honestly, I don't know if you can maybe give me a little, explanation of how that works, or how would that affect my, all the
All right.
actions that we have in there.
Google offered him to move one of his campaigns to a CPA. What that means is that, first of all, he's getting over 10 conversions a day. Good job. Second of all, that means that, let's say on Google, if you're tracking everything through Google, you're using the Google tracking code. It'll let Google know every time you get a conversion, and then in their reports, they can show you your typical cost per action is going to be $10 or $5 or whatever the number happens to be. And so what Google will do is they will offer to say, you know what, instead of paying 50 cents a click, how about what we'll do is you let us worry about the bidding, and we'll just make sure that your average CPA is no more than $5 per action. That's really what it is. I have never done that with Google. I've talked to some people that at really, really big companies that have had the same offer from Google. They were a little bit leery of it. So I don't know anyone that's done it and been happy with it, but I also don't know anyone that's done it and been unhappy with it. So how's that is that a good politician's answer? Yes. Yeah, you haven't asked one. Go.
Quick question.
Yes, Peter.
Do you work with any affiliate networks or advertisers that do not offer an API or something like that to re-import your sales?
I do. I've got one that does not. So what I did is I wrote a program to log into their website for me and download the stats. So yeah, if you're a coder or you're comfortable working with somebody like that, even if they've got a great offer or you're making money with it and you want to start tracking things a lot better, they don't have to have an API for you to interface with and grab all the data automatically. The API helps, but you can write a computer program to log into and type username and password, run the report, and export. Matter of fact, I do that with several of my affiliate partners, and I tell them about it. It's not a secret. It's no big deal. Because I'm not. Most people are worried about you pounding their website 30 times a second. That's what they're worried about. So when they hear you say, "Yeah, I'm logging into your website automatically," they're like, that's what they're thinking you're doing. But if you explain to them, I'm just getting the data because it's easier this way, and you don't have an API. Like, oh, that's cool. And so. That's that. Yes?
There's a question about
ClickRiver.
Yeah, what's the cost for bidding there as a percentage of your annual cost?
He's asking on ClickRiver, what percentage of my default bid do I use on ClickRiver? And when I was doing it a lot, I started with about half. So if I'm bidding 50 cents, I'd start ClickRiver at 25 cents, just because I didn't really have a number, just kind of a swag. And then, like I said, once I have data, I'll adjust up or down. Any more questions? Yes? Why don't you speak to me afterwards? Any more questions? No? Okay, thank you for listening. I enjoyed it. Thanks. Thank you. Oh, hold on, wait. One more thing. Please remind the audience about feedback survey forms. They're in the back. But if you're going to give me a bad score, don't forget I said that. Good scores only, please. Thank you, Patrick.